And this woman lost half her life savings in a scam targeting senior citizens. What you need to know to protect yourself coming up.
Plus, after an historic cold and snowy winter last year, we'll tell you how county road departments are gearing up for this winter.
And this woman lost half her life savings in a scam targeting senior citizens. What you need to know to protect yourself coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
We are tracking a breaking news alert in Clark County, a deadly crash involving an ambulance.
Investigators are telling us that 2 people were killed in that crash along the Mountain Parkway. Police say the victim's car crossed the center lane and slammed right into an ambulance. The crash happened about 2:30 this afternoon near the Clark-Powell County line. Jordan Valines is live along the Mountain Parkway with the latest. Jordan?
Right now, traffic here in the eastbound lanes of the Mountain Parkway is at a complete standstill as emergency crews work to clear up the collision that happened earlier today. Now, the Clark County coroner confirms that a man and woman were killed after their car crossed the median and crashed head-on into an ambulance traveling in the opposite direction. The man and woman in that car were pronounced dead on the scene. Both of the ambulance personnel were injured in the collision. One of them was flown by helicopter to UK Hospital, and the other was taken by ambulance to Clark Regional Baptist. Because of how serious the damage is to the car, officials are now looking to see and determine if speed was perhaps a factor in this collision. Now, at this time, the names of the victims killed in today's crash have not been released. Live in Clark County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Jordan, thank you. And coming up on WKYT News at 6, we'll hear from witnesses who tried to help the victims.
Good news at the gas pump for drivers could be bad news for road projects around the state. Kentucky's gas tax will drop about 4 cents Thursday, which means the state's road fund will lose millions of dollars. Sean Moody explains why this loss of revenue will hurt road projects.
Gas prices have been plummeted. Drivers are thrilled.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
But it's not necessarily all good news.
Less funds will be available to do work.
Kentucky's gasoline motor fuel tax rate is based on the wholesale price of gas. That money is used for things like road projects. The new rate will drop about 4 cents on January 1st.
1 penny of the motor fuel tax generates $30 million in a year's time. 4.3 cents at $30 million per penny, that's a $129 million loss.
Those taxes lag behind by a quarter. That number was calculated in October. The tax rate for the quarter starting in April will be based off gas prices in January, which will likely be much lower.
If we lose another like 5 cents as a result of the January survey, then you're talking about basically a 10-cent loss. That's $300 million. In all probability, there will be projects that are right now showing in the state highway plan, but that will have to be put off, maybe canceled altogether.
That'll be a burden on highway contractors who depend on those jobs. Even if gas prices go back up, the excise tax can't go up more than 10% per year. It likely won't keep pace with rising gas prices.
Will probably take several years for the excise tax to get back to the level it was at the beginning of 2014.
In Frankfort, Sean Moody, WKYT.
According to GasBuddy.com, Kentucky's average gas price is $2.08. The national average is $2.26.
Gas prices not the only thing dropping. The temperatures are dropping as we wrap up 2014.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, guys. Can't exactly see the sun right now, at least from our vantage point, but we have a heck of a sunset that is actually showing up on our live sky cam. The actual sun is hidden from by the clouds, but notice how it is sneaking through at least a few rays to hit some of those clouds from underneath. So it's lighting up our sky, giving our sky a little bit of a pink hue on the western horizon. 36 degrees in Lexington now. Winds, though, making it feel like it is below freezing. We're down to 30 with that all-important wind chill. Live First Alert Defender, not a whole lot across the Bluegrass State. Southeastern Kentucky, that's a little system that is across the Carolinas that will throw just a touch of some moisture into those higher elevations in the form of some light rain, maybe some light snow. For the rest of the Bluegrass State, trying its very best to scoot on into town, and that is at least a good possibility for many of us heading into the overnight. Outside of the east, where a few snowflakes will be possible early tomorrow morning. 2014 ready to go out on a cold note, especially considering how the rest of November or December has been, guys, after that cold November. And for the weekend, at least a threat for a little bit of winter weather. We'll break that down when I come back in about 10 minutes.
Chris, thank you. Last year's long snowy winter took its toll on road crews' salt supply. Several counties around central Kentucky ran out or almost ran out of salt.
But Mike Linden found out today how road crews are prepared to make sure that doesn't happen again. It's new at 5:30.
After a historic cold and snowy winter last year, county road department officials are well prepared with a surplus of salt for upcoming winter weather.
A lot of sleepless nights last year trying to get salt supplies in here. Never did run out, but it was scarce last year, and so far this year I'm sitting on about 3,500 ton.
Several road departments either ran out or came close to running out of salt last year. Estill and Powell County crews used gravel instead of salt last year due to a statewide salt shortage. Despite filling their barn in May with 2,000 tons of salt, Scott County Road Department officials tell me that they've added yet another 1,000 tons of salt to their supply underneath the blue tarp behind me here. And if necessary, their entire supply could be used to cover the county in salt every day for a month if necessary. Salt was scarce last year in Harrison County, but this year officials stocked up on salt in April to avoid a shortage into 2015.
We're very well prepared because we upped the amount of salt that we contracted for, preparing to get everything filled back up and then have enough to get us through the winter on a normal winter.
Barring incredibly severe winter weather, most regional road departments have enough salt to make it through the season with some to spare. In Harrison County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
And Brandenburg says each time salt trucks go out in Scott County, it costs about $14,000.
Police say a fire that killed a central Kentucky woman may have been caused by a cracked lighter. Our county-by-county coverage begins in LaRue County. Hodgenville police say the 76-year-old woman hit her cigarette lighter against a table when it exploded and caught the woman's clothes on fire. The woman was burned and died from her injuries. The state fire marshal is ruling the fire an accident. In Floyd County, state police say wet roads may be to blame for a deadly crash. Troopers say 67-year-old Jane Gross was driving on Kentucky 122 in McDowell Sunday when an oncoming vehicle lost control and hit Gross's vehicle. Gross was taken to a hospital where she died. We're told Gross was not wearing her seatbelt when that crash happened. And in Greene County, a pickup truck crashed and hit a school bus. According to Q104, a Campbellsville radio station, a man driving along North 61 towards Pittman Creek Bridge Sunday crossed the road, hit a culvert, and went airborne. That man's truck hit a Greene County school bus parked at a home. No one was in the bus, and the driver of the truck was taken to the hospital to be treated.
Imagine this phone call. The person on the other end of the phone says you have just won $5 million. But there's a catch, and that's where one of the most popular scams begins.
And I thought, you dirty, rotten people.
That's the reaction this woman had after she learned she was a victim of a sweepstakes scam that cost her half her life savings. She doesn't want us to use her name out of fear she could be targeted again.
Tell me how it started in the beginning. They called me on telephone, told me I had won something.
A $5 million jackpot, but to collect it, she was told she needed to pay the fees and taxes. The first payment, $500.
Like a dummy, I paid him the green dot card.
Postal inspectors say green dot cards are a popular component in lottery schemes. Victims are asked to put money on the card, then give the scammers the number on the back.
As soon as they have that special code, that special number, they can immediately download the money from that green dot onto a card they have actually in Jamaica.
The money is gone. The victim, in this case, lost more than $70,000.
They were mainly friendly, you know, like just a person talking to a friend talking to another friend.
Act like they're their best friend and try to remember their birthdays and find out all those personal details that will allow them the opportunity to compromise their identity even worse.
The scammers were relentless, calling the victim almost 40 times a day. they didn't stop there.
Somehow, they actually got her phone number to her vehicle. So when they couldn't get through to her home, they called her on her OnStar system in her car.
Postal inspectors were able to successfully change her phone number, but they're warning every family with an elderly parent to be on the lookout for this kind of scam.
Sometimes somebody is maybe just starting dementia. Maybe they are alone most of the time. So these scammers actually prey on the fact that the senior lives alone.
And when they do, postal inspectors say many of the victims don't feel comfortable talking about it out of fear of losing their financial freedom.
I'm Bill Bryant. Congressman Hal Rogers says he looks forward to working with fellow Republican Mitch McConnell, especially on spending bills. And a new mayor returns to the office that he held back in the 1980s. The bottom line is coming up.
Also ahead, a 19-year-old is in jail after a shooting in Richmond. You'll hear from neighbors that heard the shot and worried about their own safety. That's coming up on WKYT News at 6.